why need either one? It sounds like everything Tamika told me is for the company. So if you're out here trying to figure out where you can get a job and you're like, Tamika, I'm applying like crazy and ain't nobody calling me, it's because you have not shown those professional development skills that they're looking for on your resume. Before I may have presented it to whoever I need to present it to or share it with whoever I need to share it with, I'd be like, well, I'll be damned, that shit worked. One way I would identify if I found the right candidate is that I literally would look at their confidence. I still do. Hey y'all, this is Tamika, the face behind Hey HR, and I want to tell you guys all about the difference between professional development and then learning and development. They're two different things, guys. If you're a little confused, you're like, no, I thought they're all the same, then definitely keep watching. So according to Indeed, the definition of professional development is improving yourself through learning and training to advance your career. Companies may offer training, but typically the employee does professional development independently. That means the company may offer training for all employees where they give it to everyone. They're presenting it. They're responsible for that time period of however long it takes you to do the training, the systems that you may use. But when you're doing professional development, then you're doing it by yourself. So it's typically an external thing. It's more catered to you. That's the reason why most companies don't provide a whole bunch of it, because it's hard to do it for everyone. So, I mean, if you have a really great leader, they're good. Like, they're really good about giving professional development. Any good leader wants to see your success, so they're always going to like really dive into your experience. Now, when we start talking about learning and development, it's a little bit different. So the definition of learning and development is a systematic process to enhance an employee's skill, knowledge, and competency, resulting in better performance in a work setting, and it's always company provided. So learning and development is mainly those trainings, right? So you may say, well, Tamika, aren't they the same thing? No, they're the trainings, and most times learning and development is tied back to what the company has to give, right? So a lot of times you may see like sexual harassment training, you may see workers' comp training, you may see driver training. Most of those things, unfortunately, links back to protecting the company. So maybe they may notice that through workers' comp claims, they've had a lot of claims with the same type of injury doing the same process or the same part of that process. A company may say, okay, since we have all of these issues, we need to offer training not only so that we can improve processes, but because it's costing us a lot of money because we have all these workers' comp claims. We have people that's out of work. We have people that are struggling with how to do this maneuver. So they do it mainly, unfortunately, as a protection to the company. We get excited because sometimes the training that we like, oh, I'm so happy they're training us on this. Unfortunately, the company really triggers that if they notice that there's a problem. Otherwise, it's really tied to legalities, right? So if they want to make sure that if something should happen, you can't hold the company liable, they will train you. Hence the training for like sexual harassment, now diversity trainings. Those type of things are things that can put the company at big liability if an employee says, I'm going to sue them because this happened or that happened and they were negligent. So your learning and development is typically company wide. And it also can be if you're in a really like a health related industry or something that has a lot of regulatory bodies that's watching everything, then a lot of times they do trainings to enforce to that regulatory body. We've trained them. This is a one-off situation or this employee didn't absorb the training. As a company, we've been protecting ourselves. So learning and development sometimes can be, now that we have so much technology, let's clear that up, because all this technology that we have, people are terrified of it. And I'm like, but it's like good stuff. So you have those courses like Coursera and Course Careers and HRCP and all those courses. Now companies can say a part of their learning and development is that you'll dump into this database and start learning it directly from them so that they're not responsible for trying to teach it to you. One thing that I've done to really help you guys out with the difference between learning and development and professional development is that I created a blog where I break it down. Like, I am still shocked at how long I made that blog, and I packed it with resources so that you can really get an understanding of the difference between the two. Because though I want you to do both, the only one you really can control as an employee is professional development. Now, As a human resources professional, you have good insight to help navigate the plan for learning and development. That's why sometimes we'll have like a learning development specialist. People may say, what's a learning and development specialist? That's literally someone that's making sure that people are all getting the same trainings. The ones that's making sure that if there is a department that gets an extra training, they get it, that house all those trainings to make sure that if anything should happen, then we have record that everyone not only took the training, but they did it successfully. And how often did they do it? Was it an annual training? Was it a quarterly training? Whatever like that. I currently work in the tech industry, and we tend to do a lot of trainings, not only on like UK internet laws, but we also do a lot on like internet security, website security, phishing, malware, things like that. Some examples. I'm gonna help y'all break this down just a tad bit because I'm a little worried that you might still not get it, right? But personally, I just like examples. So let me give you some examples. Some examples of professional development are like taking a class, attending like different workshops, learning a new skill. If that's you getting into Excel and saying, okay, I'm gonna play with it a little bit more. I'm gonna take on some challenging tasks. I'm gonna try this out and see if we can get a result. Staying up to date on new trends and new laws. So that's like, you may be reading blogs, you may stay on an email newsletter, you may attend like legal briefings, things like that. You want to make sure that it's all catered back to your career field. Whatever you're doing that is a professional development, you want it to kind of cater back to that career field or get you prepared to jump into that career field. Let me give you some examples of like different companies. I'm not going to give you examples of different trainings because trainings and learning and development, I already given you examples, right? So I already told you about sexual harassment, workers' comp, all of that type of stuff, right? So I'm gonna give you some examples of companies that have some really good learning and development programs. In Google, they have an internal software that's called Google to Google. Then Publix grocery store has a really good one. I remember when I worked there forever ago, and for those of you who aren't in the Southeast, you might not be familiar with Publix, but it's a grocery store. And it's like our like kind of our bougie grocery store, right? But Publix really did some good training with us. We didn't just get out on the register and sit next to someone immediately and learn how to do that. We all sat through training before we went out to our respective areas. The FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigations for the United States, of course, they have aggressive trainings. And then Cargill Foods, I've never heard of them. Doing my research, this is where they came up. So Cargill Foods has some good ones. I do remember when I used to work in a call center. So before I worked in a call center called Suncom, before it was bought by T-Mobile. And I remember we did like either a 16 or 20 week training in that call center. The same thing happened when I work in the call center for Verizon. So we went through like a 16-week training and learned every possible thing that could come up before they put us out on the computers to literally like handle customers. And even then we still had people that we could rely on for help. I want to tell you some benefits because many people may say, why I need either one? It sounds like everything Tamika told me is for the company. Why I need either one? I'm going to tell you. For professional development, some of the benefits for that is it increased job opportunities. It really, really does. It increases your job opportunities. So if you're out here trying to figure out where you can get a job and you're like, Tamika, I'm applying like crazy and ain't nobody calling me, it's because you have not shown those professional development skills that they're looking for on your resume. And so it helps open up more opportunities for you, helps you get more interviews, help you get promoted easier. It also improves your confidence. Y'all, the best thing I could have done was have my confidence improved. The more I tried things, the more I learned things, the more I went through my career, I tell you no lie, my confidence improved. Like it got to points where I didn't believe I can do certain things, but I was like a champion for it. And I would, I would literally be shocked just like them when it worked out. And I sit there all confident, like, that's what I do. But at the end of the day, like when I just finished it, before I may have presented it to whoever I need to present it to or share it with whoever I need to share it with, I'd be like, well, I'll be damned, that shit worked. Like I still sometimes get the days when I do that. And I like that. That shows my passion. But it also enhances your hiring potential. So I already told you that. It helps you develop new skills, which is awesome because I already told you why that's a big benefit. It expands your networking opportunities. A lot of times what will happen is when we get with people, we get terrified of networking because we don't have the confidence to talk about ourselves, what we can present, what we can do. And what I absolutely love about this is that when your skills are where it should be, when you get in front of someone and they may have already gotten further in their career or maybe talking to you about an opportunity you think is great for you, you are so much easier talking about it because you got experience in it. When I used to do recruitment and talent acquisition, I would have one way I would identify if I found the right candidate is that I literally would look at their confidence. I still do. Like if your confidence through the roof and I ask you a question, you can tell me and you keep going, that tells me, okay, I got the right one. If you're like stuttering, a little shaky, reading on a screen, a little confused about the questions I'm asking me to repeat the questions, I'm like, there's no confidence there. It definitely helps you out with networking opportunities as well as interviews. And then it provides mentorship. So now you have something where you can feel like I've been kind of mentored through this skill gap, or I can work with someone now and understand what this mentor is telling me because now I have this experience. Some of the benefits for learning and development is that it definitely gives the company employee satisfaction. They see employee engagement increase because people are more satisfied. Your employees feel happier because that confidence has increased, right? Because those errors have decreased so that they get into work and they're not frustrated about the thing that they can't do. They're more eager to get through that. It definitely enhances the employee experience and it increases your retention. So people stay with the company longer. They're not quitting as easy because now you're giving them the skills, you feeding back into them. They feel like the least I can do is stay here and I'm now confident and comfortable with what I'm doing. And if it's increasing the retention rate, then it's definitely decreasing turnover, right? So turnover is just when people are you get in one department and they can't keep nobody longer than like a month, a year. Like every time you look, they got a new person. Now people are staying for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I really hope that help you guys out the differences between professional development and learning and development. And you know, the crazy thing about it is for me as a whole, if anybody else gets it confused, I'm kind of okay. When I hear HR professionals get it confused, I get a little worried. I'm like, if you don't know how you teach an employee, it's like that worries me. But I guess it's no different because now I'm finding more like nuances that are kind of irritate me, right? Because it's so crazy that so many people will either DM me, email me, or comment on videos and say, I want to start in the HR industry. And over again, I'm like cringing. I'm like, how many people are so confused about industry and career field? It's like, I don't know, it's becoming a thing for me. I'm like, HR is not an industry. Healthcare is an industry. Automotive is an industry. You know, retail is an industry. HR is a career field. But I guess, you know what, I get in all my own nuances. So anyhow, I hope that really helped you guys out. And if you have any questions, then definitely let me know. I'll put the link to the blog down below. And I'll also put a link to like some of the professional development resources that I am such a big fan of. If you have anything else you'd like to know about this, then definitely put it in the comments. I will tell you that the next video that I'm going to do is going to talk all about ways that you can improve or get that professional development. So I've given you guys some examples. Now I'm going to give you some resources. If you really want to know, like, Tamika, this is good to understand. Now I'm ready to get going. I'm ready to learn for myself. Then you definitely not only want to hit that like button because that help your girl out. Now you're just helping me with the like button, but you want to help yourself out. You want to subscribe and definitely hit the bell so that you don't miss that next video. You guys already know what I'm about to say. So I cannot wait to see you guys on the next video.